pretty EDG favored, Yanni. I still very much favor them in this one.
Yes.
And we will see if they can come out on top as the expected team to win. We will see what ends up being the draft here. A lot of prio picks still on the board. I'm expecting to see a Varus ban come out from LNG here. If not, likely first pick for EDG.
You know what? I got a bone to pick with EDG after that game because it feels like, you know, in the mid to late game, like they're able to get like one pick and they've got all these tools to like get more, but it just kind of felt like they were content with what they got and that they saw the game state, they saw that they were up kills, they saw that they had a lot of map control, and they felt like they could probably sleepwalk through the game, right? And then they got hit with the reality check after LNG took that first Baron, right? That, hey, LNG can still make you pay. We talked about it earlier. LNG, despite all of their flaws as a team, we have seen them punish good teams for making brazen plays, right? Or not being as sharp and on top of their game as they could be. And against a team like EDG, I mean, that team is very punishable. And Cubby, somehow, some way, Varus has gotten through. And looks like it should go into EDG's hands.
I like how EDG, they stole LNG's homework. They're like, all right, we're going to ban Sion on 3, and we're going to force a Jace ban coming in, you know? It's going to be fine. So that actually opened up the Varus. We'll see if LNG handshakes with something like Ashe as Jhin and MF both off the table.
Seeing what the options are here. I'd love to see a Cassante out of Zika, right? This would be very nice to see. Give him something that can not only have a sturdy laning phase, be able to farm up, but also be able to make impact later on in the game, wade through these fights, absorb a lot of damage, all out somebody, and then be the carry top laner once you all out somebody. That feels like it would be very beneficial for LNG because now Zika gets to hit a go button.
I kind of like this for LNG, I'll be honest. I think a lot of the bad matchups for Cassante are actually off the board. I mean, you're thinking Gnar, Camille, Rumble can be tough, and Bessa too. Cassante getting through, it might just relegate ZDZ to something like a Renekton or a Gragas. And this Ezreal does bring a lot of nice scaling here for LP later on. So I like the response to the Varus. At least they had a plan.
All right. Will we see the Viego come through? That is the question, right?
Yep.
It is the answer, the Viego. Now, what are we going to pair up with this Viego, right? Typically, you go into multiple champions that can reset. Obviously, the Jinx is not going to be a champion that you're going to pick here. So, you know, maybe we'll see an early mid laner here out of EDG. This is not the mid laner that I would choose, but I think it's fine.
I mean, I don't think it synergizes that well with the Viego. With Viego, usually you want setup and stuff to find resets. And frankly, looking at both Cassante and Ezreal, I feel like that's actually kind of bold to have Viego here. So, I mean, opportunity for LNG as they play the rest of this one out in the draft. I gotta say, I wouldn't mind Akali here. Real lack of CC that could be extremely impactful for Akali. We'll have time in the draft to find some more, but okay. Ends up being the Silas here for Haichao.
All right. You know, I actually very much like this Silas pick because it's going to cause EDG to have to be careful with their last two picks here, coming out of top and out of support. Because I think they have one impactful ultimate with the Varus. Obviously, you know, Viego's ultimate, very impactful for what he can do. You can buy some space with the Victor ultimate, but now, if EDG want to put together a very synergistic composition that can team fight a little bit more and allow Xiaohao and Angel to have all this space and hit all these CC targets, well, EDG, I don't know what champions they're going to be able to actually pick to not give Haichao this power.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see. I like the Renekton ban right off the bat. Obviously, you talked about that being a potential matchup into the Cassante, and with that Victor picked up, not only do you get the counter pick now that went over to LNG, but also did give up two top laners that you could have played into Cassante. So ZDZ really narrowing up his pool for this game. Kind of curious to see what he goes with. I think Gragas would actually be an okay option later on. But again, I'm curious to see what he goes with. He does have options.
Let's get the ZDZ Gangplank. I don't know how good it's actually going to be.
Yeah.
But let's get the ZDZ Gangplank. This guy plays some Gangplank.
That's a maybe.
Let's do it. You know, let's get in there and do it. Oh, Wukong? Is Wukong making a comeback? Haven't seen him a whole lot lately. He's been hiding.
Unironically, also a matchup that you can play into Cassante too. So if they do want to take that one. But I would like the Pantheon here. Again, this is a really melee-heavy composition with Ezreal behind it. But I think that I want to see 5T5 really make plays onto this Victor early, forcing Flash out and enabling Haichao to play that lane aggressively could be big.
Wonder if EDG will look to pick up a Braum here, perhaps, seeing these 3 melees. You can't pick that.
Can't do that, yep.
It won't be that. Poppy would also work pretty well. There are a lot of really good options. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing a potential Braum, but we will see the Poppy get locked in.
I think that's top. Yeah. I want to say that could be top. If not, okay.
Never mind.
Maybe I lied, yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what they settle up with. But
I like Poppy a lot this game.
A solid top pick. Yeah.
Poppy's a really good pick. The issue with Poppy is that, especially now that there's no more lane swaps, in the lane swap scenario, she was so good at diving and you kind of cheat the first few levels of the laning phase where she is pretty weak. So I want to see if we can have a pick actually punish the Poppy. You keep on teasing the Braum. I would actually really like the Karma here. You have a really lane-dominant bot lane now for LNG, and if you are able to use that to maybe push things mid or enable the Pantheon to ignore bot, lean on everything that they have down there in terms of just the range, the poke, the scaling, and frankly, is Wink going to rock the Gragas here?
We're going
to have a Poppy top?
They haven't swapped yet, Cubby. I am keeping an eye on that.
Okay. I'm wondering if the Karma prompted this, right? Because again,
maybe
Poppy cannot do anything in this lane. It is awful for Poppy. So I'm wondering if this is like utilizing a double flex or this was the plan since when it was locked in.
Yeah, it looks like that's what they'll go with. They'll go with the Gragas into the support. I mean, you get some sustain out of your passive too. So it's hard. While be dealing. Oh yeah, it's not going to be easy.
It's not.
You at least have something, right? And we'll see if the Gragas is able to move around a little bit to be able to link up with his jungler here. I really like the pick inherently because I think this ultimate is going to carry a lot of value into this LNG team. You mentioned them being very heavy melee, so if Pantheon goes in, if Sylas goes in, uses Abscond Abduct, right, and you Gragas ult them out of a fight, you're going to have a much harder time actually trying to get back into the fight.
Well, I will say I like a lot of the tools that EDG has when they end up grouping, but getting there might be a challenge against this LNG draft. So onus on LNG to make some early plays. We'll see if 5T5, again, in his debut series, can really play this map quickly. Get that. I think the focus should be on taking flashes away from the Victor. Could be really big to help out the Sylas, and then just lean on that bot lane that's going to be winning early on. So we'll see if LNG can do it.
All right, everybody. Game 3 of this best of 3 series. We did not think that we would be here, but Cubby, I am so happy that we are because that means that Group Nirvana might just be a little bit more interesting.
Of course, we were expecting to see this group maybe get a little weird.
LNG was favored, by the way, on that little chart.
And in the late game, yeah. I mean, I think Cassante later on in this game. Cassante can be big later on in this game, so
don't know if that chart's actually just fake.
I mean, it did prove to be fake last game, right? Because they had
it was
EDG,
very fake,
very heavily favored.
Incredibly fake. But we'll see. We'll see. It's nothing too crazy in the early game going on right now. Obviously, just teams just feeling things out. We're really looking for 5T5 to go and make some early plays. I want to see him link up with Haichao, right? Haichao is a player that we have not seen make a play pre-20 minutes outside of that. The 2 kills he got on the Rise, right? Hasn't really been that active, but he has to be active this game. Like, I hope that something has awoken inside of him. There are 2 wolves inside of you. One of them is Haichao before the end of Game 2, and one of them is hopefully Haichao after the end of Game 2.
Again, really want to see 5T5 make his way to the mid lane. Just like even a 3 camp, just trade flashes with Victor. It would be so worth in this matchup. So want to see if that ends up being the focus. And also what kind of defense Xiaohao can play against it, because his start was spotted, as he did end up going for the Raptors red into Krugs, potentially looking to impact this bot lane, which of course will be very lane dominant for the Ezreal Karma. Also curiously enough, actually going for the on-hit Varus this game. Definitely going to hurt a lot in the lane phase. The fact that he doesn't have, stuff like the Comet and the Scorch and the Poke. But we'll be looking to deal with that front line later on. A bit curious with this selection. Again, I think their team can make a lot of space for him, but we have mostly just seen poke Varus, so a little bit surprised to see this.
Yeah, it's going to be so hard, right? Because, like, if 5T5 or Haichao get on top of him, he should just be dead, right? And if Zika gets on top of him, I don't know if on-hit Varus actually will have the damage to kill him later on, but, you know, we'll see. Maybe On is just expecting that he'll be bought so much space, as you mentioned, and that LNG won't be able to go on him, right? And he'll be able to walk up freely after hitting a Chains of Corruption.
And as kind of expected, you can see this EDG bot lane being behind. As I gotta say, they're doing better than what I thought early on, and it's still not looking good despite that. So I'll see if On's able to snipe out this cannon minion, but nope, not gonna be the case. Goes to the wayside, and the poke harass continues from LP and Zhuo with this Ezreal Karma lane.
And On is level 2 right now. He didn't even ding level 3, so he got zoned off of EXP at some point in time. Very, very detrimental when that happens to you in the early game, as these junglers have just traded crabs right now. 5T5 is in a position to maybe hop onto Angel here after this melee minion dies. See if Angel wants to step up a little bit.
Oh, I don't love that, because now... Okay, Viego's not going to collapse, but I think, again, just... Victor's too close to the turret there, so no opportunity to go flash for flash, but now he's stuck, because that was a very greedy recall.
Yeah, 5T5, he's going to get flash body slammed. The shields are there, the heal is there, but now Haichao had to go in. It looks like they'll be able to peel off, but losing a heal, it will cost Wink both of his summoners, though.
Actually surprised that 5T5 is able to walk out there without burning a flash, so well done on the back half, as he kind of gets away from a pretty greedy base. Of course, the strength of Sylas compared to Victor early on going to be very much Sylas favored, so that does help. No elongated fight for EDG, but going neutral for them is nice, especially this mid lane matchup, as Victor will struggle early on against the Sylas, but with time, once you get that E-Evolve, can start pumping out the waves. Everyone has seen how hard Victor can scale. Definitely the mark that Angel's looking to hit in this game, as bot lane's still looking pretty bad here, Yanni. I think that Zhuo's going to be able to pull this. He's fresh out of base.
Yeah, LP single-handedly just dealing damage to On and Wink, making sure that this wave did not get shoved into the turret. It's going to be stopped by the minions, so On and Wink, they're going to come back off this recall, and it's going to suck unless they swap out of it, right? And it looks like ZDZ is unfortunately going to be on the losing end. They're going to send him to the bot lane into the sunken place. As EDG, they want these grubs. Maybe. I mean, you know, it would be a good enough takeaway for LNG, you know, to just make sure that they're not able to get it. They're going to utilize them fine, I guess, but I'm not too crazy about it.
Yeah, I actually really like that play from Zika, just to make sure that that recall was stopped, killed some of the tempo, and might just force a TP out of Poppy bot. But LP, he's pulled the wave bot, so that's a lot of golden experience just being drained, going towards nothing, and Poppy walking back. Not going to TP proactively to try and catch that. So I got to say, with K'Sante being 6, Grub's likely to be taken on time, but Zika can't really be moved here.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough because you just don't really have a lot of damage out of Wink. And in the mid lane, we've got trading ultimates here from Victor, or I'm sorry, and Haichao. Yep. Change to Haichao, use that ultimate there. Angel still left his in his back pocket. Xiaohao going to go up to these grubs. He takes the first one. Zhuo shows up, looking to maybe disrupt just a little bit.
Okay.
Be 2 for EDG, and we'll leave the last one for LNG.
And this is not bad at all. I think that LNG has still gotten a lot of experience across the map. You got Ezreal and Zika pretty happy right now in their lanes, as really nothing to complain about if you're LNG here.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice dodge there, because if you got hit by that, I think you're in trouble if you're LP. You're going to have to burn a summoner spell to get out of there, because it's incredibly difficult to kill Poppy early.
Not bad. ZDZ, of course, going for the Tier 2 Fimbulwinter. A really nice item, and it's going to be the straight tank Poppy. Sometimes we do see Thunder Sky snuck in there, a Poppy or item that Poppy can really abuse, but not this game. So ZDZ knows his role is to be the tank and create space for this on-hit Varus to pump out the damage, which Varus can do well enough, where I mean, he can supply enough damage for a team. Inventory check, though. You see double Ruby Crystals for both Victor and Sylas. Looks like a double Roa game. Of course, that item was changed this patch. The combined... It still is the same combined cost for Catalyst, but instead of it costing $650 now, they made it $250, and it builds out of an extra Ruby Crystal, which is really nice for mid laner, especially a Victor trying to survive a matchup like this into the Silas.
Yeah, it's so crazy how small changes like that can actually just have such a large impact on, you know, what champions build, what items is on. May have found himself caught out here. The Q's just to cut him off. Flash is burnt to take him down, and the barrier will not help you. It'll be first blood going over to 5T5.
The ult there from 5T5 is, again, we talked about LNG. They need to speed the game up with this comp, and 5T5 doing just that, taking down that on-hit Varus, getting him off the map is going to be a nice win.
Yeah, we wanted to see that first play happen mid lane, but you know what? As long as it's happening somewhere, it's totally fine, right? You're going to let LP have a lot of breathing room. He's got Sheen, he's got Tier. As long as you can give him time to scale and hit his 2-item spike, if you're LNG, you'll be in good shape. And now EDG, they're the ones who look like they haven't been able to be as proactive. We saw Wink try to make that one play onto 5T5 earlier, but since then, nothing. And, you know, it's this time Xiaohao is not the one dictating who is going in to try to start the play.
I'm curious kind of how that's going to change as this one goes on, because again, I feel like Viego just doesn't really fit this composition. Because like, as you're calling out, I mean, you have this Victor Varus core. Throwing a Viego in there doesn't really make sense, especially this on-hit Varus. It's not like you can get anyone low early on to really set up for the Viego. With Varus going on hit and not poke. It's going to take a while for Victor to get online, especially with the Roa, to really get the poke down or chunks where Viego might be able to find an early angle in fights. So Xiaohao going to have to be a little bit more careful with where and when he enters, especially the when part, as it won't be like 3 resets early on for him in these fights unless LNG really misplays.
Yeah, if it was poke Varus, maybe you're talking about, hey, they're softened up. You can go in, especially with the Poppy and the Gragas. Gragas will deal a little bit of damage, but again, we'll have to see if that holds true. Well, Haichao, he's just going to get in Angel's Grill a little bit, get some free damage on him, as 5T5 is also hanging around the area, but not really going to be able to make a play. They've sent the bot lanes into mid lane here. So LNG are looking to take some control and cut out some vision, gouge the eyes out of EDG on this bottom side. Wink finds himself in a little bit of trouble. He will be forced to flash away from that play.
Really respectful flash.
Okay. Hold on. We're going to shove 5T5 in with the Gragas barrel as well, and Xiaohao will get his first.
I really like that flash from Wink. I think it's a good understanding of that play. He preserved his entire health bar and opened up the angle to go onto the flashless Pantheon as 5T5 falls. Good combo coming out from EDG as they even the kill score.
Yeah, it was really well played there. And
yeah.
Now this feels like both of these teams are kind of in it, right? They're kind of feeling themselves at least a little bit. Is not perhaps going to be as slow as our previous games, as the second set of grubs are up. Next dragon up in about 25 seconds. We'll see if LNG wants to go for that. 2 incredibly powerful dragons. I just hope our soul is at least a little bit more exciting this game, Cubby, because it still could come into play like it did last time.
The moment Grub is going to be the play, as those are still on the Rift. Of course, we have a Hextech Dragon. So with Infernal and Hextech being the first 2 Drakes, I think odds for an impactful soul, Yanni, might go down a little bit in this game.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all right. We got Grubs being taken here by 5T5, and I don't think this is going to be contested by EDG. I think they're okay with the potential 4-2 split. And 5T5 okay with leaving that Grub up, so he's got 3 for himself, and that's going to be just about it.
EDG going to head over to the Dragon. I think this is really good for EDG, because imagine if LNG got the first 2, and then it's like an Ocean Soul, right? Against the Varus and the Victor. It would be a little difficult for EDG to do something, so at least going to try to be proactive, make sure they break the stacking here. Overall,
a TP.
Pretty good. Yeah, teleport coming in. They're looking to try to make a pincer play with Zhuo and LP. Let's see if they're actually able to do so. They are starting to walk out for right now. The tether does not fully land. Here comes the Pantheon over the top, but slammed up against the wall, and they've turned the play completely around. 5T5 falls. EDG are looking for more, but look like they won't be able to get it.
That is so much burn to just go minus Drake and -1 kills. I did not see the angle there for LNG at all. I'm going to be honest. And I will give Wink credit. Really nice ult to separate that fight. I think that it's really big, the fact that you have this displacement coming in from Wink, from ZDZ. The ability for EDG to really control numbers in fights moving forward with the Keeper's Verdict and the cask from Gragas will be significant. And definitely saw it there as the engage from LNG definitely felt forced, and Wink made it look even more forced with that barrel. Really well placed on the ult.
Yeah, just a couple of times where it's round peg square hole, right, for LNG, that they've just pressed a little bit too hard.
I just didn't see that at all. Like the play was over.
I didn't see the angle at all either. I mean, you saw that once the tether came off from the Karma. I mean, especially because they were retreating into their jungle, you had to think they were going to link up with ZDZ there. I mean, this feels like a lot of, hey, we burnt a teleport. Well, we have to try to do something. We can't just burn a summoner for free. Like, you can't. It's okay. Not every play has to be successful. You just can't lose more whenever you mess up. I'd make
See
a
if
great
LNG
coach.
can stabilize. You don't lose more when you already mess up, Coach Yanni. I mean, honestly, not the worst advice in the world. You can maybe phrase it better, you know. As a coach, you gotta have those like banger one-liners, some graphics. You gotta
listen. They never said I was good at talking.
You gotta. Well, I think you're pretty good at talking, Yanni. I think you're doing fine.
Thanks.
You just gotta take some more time to prep. You know, make sure those players know what the hell's up.
Yeah.
That that message of if you already mess up, just don't lose harder.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta make sure you find the most effective way to drive
minimize losses, maximize gains.
Yes. Do not look at the stock market.
Yes,
today,
do
right?
not. No. The
the
U.S. stock market has not been paying attention to my words of wisdom.
You're in. It's not good. Anyway, we'll see if the market can, maybe look like that LNG gold graph.
Stonks go down for LNG right now because
it magically recovered
after that play. After that play, stonks go down. I'm shorting LNG right now. Not feeling too good about the game. And Xiaohao, we talked about, oh man, this Viego is going to be really, really hard to play. Well, I mean, it should have been, but there are now 2 kills on Xiaohao, right? He is going to be exceptionally powerful this game. He's got this Trinity Force, and maybe, just maybe, they've got this play onto Haichao. Karma coming through, trying to link up. Looks like EDG will temper their expectations just a little bit here and take it easy.
I like the fact that Angel is up a level pretty much against Haichao, or half a level. Really big for the Victor, just getting ahead in this. If Silas can't take you out, seen what this Victor can do. If anyone watched that T1 Gen G series last night, ended with quite a banger. Chovy with this Roa Victor did things that really only Chovy can do on the Rift. It was absolutely filthy. So see if Angel can channel some of that and take advantage of a champ that's already pretty strong. And also this item helps. This Victor being played on.
Oh wait, he's still alive for right now. Wait a minute, maybe there's almost no way. Right? What just happened there?
5-2-5 went for the Q flash and missed.
He's him!
The Q flash missed. He sidestepped it.
But, yeah, I just... That was... Wait.
He's TPing back. It's fine.
But didn't he throw the Q afterward?
Yes, that was the short Q. You get a short cooldown.
Yes. Okay,
and
yes.
I mean, speaking of shorts, Yanni, I want to return to shorting LNG because
yes,
your investment just went up with LNG going down there. Congrats,
man, dude. So glad, man. I finally see some green. It's been a rough couple of days. As EDG are looking to maybe make this repeat play on the bottom side once again in position. So they're just trying to work down this turret, but if they get a little bit more, that's fine by them. 3 grubs to 3 does mean that while no team has a discernible advantage there, if you manage to get a couple of hits on the turret, oh boy, that turret will crumble shortly. So AD carries are just hanging out in the mid lane. It's me and my buddy hanging out, ready for On to try to at least burn the cleanse of LP, maybe drop an ultimate, but LP starting to fight back with a vengeance here. And quite a few mystic shots as EDG do manage to take that bottom turret. The dragon is up, but it looks like they will stay away from it.
Yeah, the range of the Ezreal, quite nice. Looks like True Shot Barrage is thrown at the wave, and On actually going to cancel the recall and try and stick around. As he's not poke Varus, a lot harder to clear out the waves here. He's going to be vulnerable to Ezreal Karma, but has help in his back pocket.
Okay, here's Xiaohao. Looking for multiple stuns here. LP will be forced out of the fight, but he's got to burn both of his summoners. They trade for Winks. Teleport
and that's before
in.
Dragon. So
yep.
that's just Dragon.
Yep, it's pretty free. We're going to see Zika teleport to the top lane here.
Yanni, I'm not mad. I'm just a bit disappointed with that one. LP again. You have Varus so low You don't need to play that next wave as hard. If you see him recall, like, that's the angle for your team as LNG to just go get a free dragon. With Varus being in base instead, playing too far up, loses both sums and loses any pressure, any chance to get the dragon there. As LP, the one who really has the lead, that wave didn't have the right to be aggressive on it. EDG able to punish. They take the neutral objective and get to keep on scaling on this map.
Let's see if they move it up, too, because they do know that LNG is on this Rift Herald right now, and they have to pull off. So LNG are unable to take the Rift Herald, which means it should be all EDGs. And going back to your point, Cubby, they always say that sometimes you don't need to get the kill, just get your opponent low enough so they cannot contest. It is almost as good as a kill, even though you don't get the 300 gold or, if you get a shutdown, whatever. And, LP just not living by that axiom right now. We'll say, at least on the bottom side, Haichao got a turret, so it feels okay. Oh, 5T5. 5T5, what are we doing here, brother? Looks like he's okay for right now, but he gets explosive cast.
No flash.
Xiaohao is sprinting after this man, and they will take him down. Another pick of the jungler of LNG. Right
yeah. I mean, LNG, again, they started the Herald. They were the ones that started it. But forced off, and 5T5 was going for the 50-50. What I saw, actually, on Twitter, I guess 5T5, it kind of stands for 50-50.
It's 5T5T.
Yeah, it kind of stands for 50-50.
Yeah, it's a 5T5T.
Is pretty badass, I will say. That said, this 50-50 was not warranted. They were the ones that started the Rift Herald. He's trying to sneak in there and finish it, but I mean, Haichao's getting free stuff on the bot lane. You just have to give this. If you actually want to contest this, you got to bring numbers. LNG continue to look a little bit disjointed on the map here, Yanni. Feels like a series that did go 3, but at the end of the day, we might be saying it was an EDG 3-0. As
hey, listen, Haichao could still make a big play this game.
He can. MVP Haichao could emerge from his hibernation.
Yes. I mean, hibernation. This is the first game since. Maybe he is not hibernating. Right now, obviously, he hasn't really made an early impact yet, but honestly, would we have expected him to at this point in the game? This is not where he hits his stride. But Cubby, we are getting to the 20-minute mark. This is typically where Haichao hits his stride. Otacon is on the map as well. And the gold lead is very, very tiny for EDG right now, so don't count LNG out just yet.
Yeah, still a lot of game left to go. We'll say Mountain Dragon. I think if those get stacked up by EDG, that's going to make life really hard for LNG. Varus does have % health damage and dual damage profile. Ezreal, you want to delay your pen. Silas as well. You kind of want to delay your pen. Whereas I think Varus and especially Victor able to catch it a lot earlier in the game if they so choose. So LNG got to be careful about giving these away. We'll be spawning in 2 minutes. And of course, Otacon, it is on the Rift, but you got to have a big advantage on the map to take a 20-minute Otacon, and our teams are playing slow.
We're not there yet. We're in Group Nirvana right now.
I mean, again,
we're not quite in Group Ascent.
The stakes are high here, Yanni.
They are.
It's a single round robin, 6 teams. Top 2 go to playoffs. Bottom 2, sayonara until 2026. We cannot repeat this enough. May not be the strongest teams we have in the LPL right now, but man, they're playing for hella high stakes at the moment.
Absolutely. Arguably, I mean,
much higher than Ascend. You can say
it's it's such a dichotomy, right? As you see a play made onto Angel here, Zhuo flashing in just to get the tether,
Wink.
but he's not able to actually get it. He takes so much damage, but it's okay because he's still alive. They're trying to turn this play around. Xiaohao flashing forward. LP trying to get out, but he cannot, and Xiaohao gets kill number 4, and he's starting to do tricks on Ezreal right now as 5T5 will fall. A double kill for Xiaohao. They took out Zhuo as well, and now the Otacon is next on the menu.
Just really no chance to win that fight after Wink entered it. That was a great disengage by Wink to protect Angel. That's going to be a few kills going over to EDG and the Otacon, which, yet again, probably going to be the free res here. But, man, I got to really praise Wink. The support Gragas. We weren't even sure if it was going to be Gragas top or Poppy top into the Cassante. They put the Gragas there because this matchup is awful for the Poppy, and Wink's been huge on this pick.
Take a look at this replay. Yeah, Wink just
beautiful.
Absolutely stuffing that
beautiful.
Engage.
That's really well played by Wink, right as the Pantheon landed, deleted them, and of course LP being down sums the focus of Xiaohao and EDG, as the rest of the fight made easy by that disengage from Wink.
Yep, and then of course Xiaohao picking up the Ezreal skin suit and just being able to get a free arcane shift. That's really good. That's going to make that fight that much easier to be able to claim some kills. Now you've got the Otacon buff. Let's see if EDG can make a good Rift Herald play here. They have Rift Herald. They have the Otacon revive.
Dragon's up. I like the drop. It's nice. They're going to get mid pressure.
This
Can
is
help control
finally
Dragon.
good timing.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't get the turret, I think the timing of the waves, it is justified. As EDG grouped up and try and wrap this one up. ZDZ was fishing for a keeper's verdict. Doesn't pop it. Instead, they take the turret. Will retreat to the Dragon, which should be theirs.
Yep, this is really well played by EDG here. It finally feels like this is the team that we expected to see throughout this entire series. And in Game 1, you know, we didn't really get it. They finally begrudgingly ended Game 1. In Game 2, they left LNG in the game long enough for a big turnaround to be made by Haichao. And this time around, it feels like EDG really have the boot on the throat. But now Angel caught out a little bit here. Teleport coming in on the side. 5v5 trying to deal with ZDZ. Angel is completely caught though. The Ezreal comes through but doesn't actually get the kill. Now 5v5 has to retreat to the safety of his own jungle. So nothing to be had for LNG. They don't even get one of the Otacon revives.
And another Mountain Dragon stack. Now Soul Point for EDG. I think it's going to be so hard for this LNG squad to get through this EDG team with Mountain Dragons being stacked. I mean, the resistances this Poppy's going to have in these fights, Yanni, and even just the carries, right? You're stacking health on Victor, getting access to 2 Mountain Dragons when you have a lot of extra health in your kit, extra mileage on that as well. And they have a team where, again, we were talking about this game, like LNG has to play fast and furious early, and we just never really saw them set behind the Victor. The plays they made were pretty unwarranted. I feel like the first play they made where they like double TP'd and panthalted in just to lose Dragon because they were late and then lost one really set them behind in the pace of this game, and we haven't seen LNG recover.
Yeah, unfortunately, they were the unnamed character in the Fast and Furious movies that crashes after trying to do something that is really out of their depth early on. And that has really been the story of this game for LNG. Their solo laners are doing cardio on Summoner's Rift right now. Their jungler is doing harder cardio because he is sprinting it. He is 1 in 4. He has put himself in bad positions constantly in this game. See if LNG are actually able to do something here. Immediately stuffed by on is 5T5. Teleport's coming in. As all of a sudden Zika finds himself in the middle of the fight. Haichao and LP trying to do what they can. Zika trying to buy room for them, but there's just no damage coming out of LNG right now.
You really like the phrase doing cardio, by the way. May I introduce to you flashing air, which is my personal favorite.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, you flash nothing, you just flash air.
Yeah, exactly. All right, flash air. I kind of like that, but
yeah,
you know, you can't tell me this isn't a cardio game. 0-0-0.
No, it really has been. It's been much more of a cardio game for me too because of the lack of action.
Yes.
I had to fill a lot more time here, Yanni. And that's usually where I don't talk during the action. That's the one time that you talk. So
exactly, you know,
they're keeping us busy.
Yeah, you know, they're really putting the screws to you, my friend. You know what? Maybe a cardio game is not the best way to put it for these two champions. You know, when you go into practice tool and you just practice your CSing, this is exactly what's happening. Essentially, Zika and Haichao are just doing this with more advanced bots on the other side of the team,
my
right?
God. I cannot believe we're talking co-op versus AI in this. I mean, honestly, I was just trying to talk about anything but the game, which refuses to have any action. But you know what, Yanni? Dragon's up in 2 minutes. And that's going to save us.
That's going to
you have to fight
generate some action. Yeah, if you're LNG, you can't give this away.
If they don't fight Mountain Soul, we're going to have
What
problems.
are you going to fight? What are you going to fight?
I might just crash out.
Oh my God, dude! I kind of hope it happens now. You know, maybe LNG decides, no worries, guys. We will simply take Elder, right? We will simply. EDG has played directly into our hands. They have allowed the Elder Dragon to spawn, and we will simply steal it. It's fine. Maybe that is the case. I really hope it's not. A minute and 20 seconds to figure out if Cubby is going to crash out or not. Do not adjust that dial, everybody watching on LPL English. Surely you will see some greater action later as well. But for now,
I have beef, Yanni, with like.
Okay.
I've had a conversation with a few of casters on teams. Like, hey, maybe we shouldn't reference flex games. If we're just playing for Elder, and like gonna give Soul to flip Elder, That for sure is the vibe master of the flex game, you know?
No, that's such a flex game thing for guys like us
Oh,
to do,
God.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, listen. When the games are like this, sometimes you occasionally get to mention flex with the boys.
FFing
you know?
is for losers, you know?
Exactly.
That's my belief.
Yeah, because,
Yep.
you know, flex with the boys is almost like this game, except there'll probably be more kills. Here we go,
On top
teleport
of
coming
Wink?
in. We're ready to make a play here, but once again, Wink trying to
Get on.
stuff these guys out. They're on top of On. They finally find him. Haichao gets that kill and shoves away ZDZ. What's going to happen on the back half, though? Angel trying to get some good damage in as EDG are looking to chase down LNG, but LNG get some gumption, make a play, and put themselves in a spot to take away this dragon.
I mean, necessary that they were
speechless.
able to pull that one off. I really am. Again, it was a flashless on. They found a great execute. They split when the Cassante and the Pantheon landed between the TP and the Grand Starfall. So actually able to execute onto Varus, who was flashless. That was really well played by LNG. Prevent the Soul, keep themselves in the game.
And don't look now, but MVP Haichao has his first kill of the game. That's something to watch out for, because you know what? Maybe the guy will end up popping off.
I'm happy for Haichao, Yanni. I really am.
You don't sound like you're
1-0.
happy for him.
No, don't worry about it. It's fine. We played Silas and unfortunately didn't do anything early. As again, TP landing and the Pantheon landing, it was split. Varus, no flash. Threat overload to the best of the ability of Wink. Could not peel away for his Varus. Thought Wink did his damnedest to protect on, but too much being thrown at the Varus, and that's enough to get the kill and get LNG that dragon, prevent the Soul from going over, and extend this game into what has been nothing but just dynamite action when objectives haven't been on the Rifts in this game and this series, quite frankly, Yanni.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Cubby. And, you know, it's so crazy to think how a millisecond, a split second, is the difference between making that play and not being able to make that play. You know, as you astutely mentioned, they split the threat, and that meant that Zika was able to actually get to the back line. Now, Zika is up a little bit far, but he is Cassante, so there isn't really that much to be worried about.
Oh.
Ultimate from On. I was just about to say, maybe we'll see a Chains of Corruption come through. We certainly did. It did not land on anybody. It is the hardest skill shot to land in the game, clearly, as Haichao is getting sunned in the 1v1 by Angel right now.
Yeah, again, this is kind of what happens when Victor
He's
goes late.
on the side.
As
Okay.
LP.
Oh, teleport's coming in.
Oh, that's a big TP.
Here comes Angel. This is going to be a 5v4, but Angel is on the wrong side right now.
Oh,
He's able
nice.
to regroup with this team. They're trying to find their way out. The Dragon Sparrow only knocks them away, and I don't necessarily think they'll find Zika, so they burn a key teleport, a little bit of damage on the way out too. But EDG pressing a little bit all of a sudden. Maybe a little hot under the collars and all out on top of On. Okay. Here comes the Pantheon into the back line. ZDZ slams him up against the wall. On is taken low as LP is trying to do what he can, but now he goes to the front line. He does find the kill onto the Poppy, and they're going to look for more. Angel's the next target. Arcane Shift. He cleansed a little early. Can he get close? What a Q by LP! Just able to slip it right in, curve the Mystic Shot, and LNG have come alive, and they're going for the Baron.
What a re-engage from Zika. I didn't see that one, but the follow-up from LP was massive, and the big part of this fight, On got chunked out. He couldn't fight. LP did a great job of making sure Varus was low, and they couldn't follow up.
Cubby, I have no idea what's going on tonight, my friend, but LNG have managed to do nothing and make a couple of miracle plays to keep themselves in the game and now have a big lead off of it.
A lot was
EDG
thrown out
just go
here.
too hard.
I mean, again, a lot was thrown out here, and I'm okay with it. Like, it's not like they didn't get anything, but we see, like, Zika just brute force this one. Again, beautiful play from him, as he just bought enough time to really get the team in here, and On was so chunked out from what was going on before that re-engage was warranted. LP able to free fire. On can't do anything in the fight. As a lot of EDGs, their initial peel tools were down, and LP pretty much just ran away with that one.
Yeah, we talked about how we really liked the Cassante pick for Zika this game because it gave him agency to start fights for his team. It allows him to be tanky enough to go in and survive and then say, hey guys, we are forcing the fight. When you go and you add someone like 5T5 and no longer have WeiWei on your team, you need somebody to lead the charge. And Zika in Game 3 has decided, I can make a play here. I can be the one starting the fight for my team. I can be the veteran that tries to lead us to victory.
Not just that, but also LP stepping in to the roster and stepping up in that fight. Game 3 again.
Yeah.
These series are so important. The single round robin, best of 3 in Group Nirvana. You're playing for your split 3 lives. Still has a chance to go to playoffs. Not a lot of games to prove that you can make it into either. So everything matters. And I know that the one common factor of LNG fans, it has been like free Zika, right? It has been a joke that's been thrown around, but it has felt that way at times to have him be the one that steps up late. As you mentioned earlier, Yanni, the captain really of this team now that WeiWei is gone, hands down the most experienced member playing at the highest level. He really stepped up big in that fight in the Cassante and made a huge difference.
Yeah, we expected this to be kind of like, straighten up your suit and tie for EDG. Show up, get business done, and get out. And guess what? They've been pulled into the mud here by LNG. And all of a sudden, this team that, you thought could have been a Group Ascend team that I thought would have been, maybe outside of the bottom 2 in Ascend, definitely looks like they could find their way down there, Cubby, as the mid-inner turret will fall. Solid enough use of the Baron out of LNG. They got that bottom tier 2.
They have Dragon set up.
They do have good Dragon set up, and they do have a TP getting used by Haichao on the bot side, so they are ready to go and snipe this Dragon away and send us to Drake 7.
Yeah, EDG don't want this at all. No flash on Angel, no flash on On. I think that dropping this Dragon is justified. You got to wait for Flash to be up on those 2 big carries. I think we saw in the last fight what can happen if that those tools aren't available, and time is still good for EDG. I do like the scaling they have on this team.
This has been this has been wild. It's been tame, but it's been wild.
It's like nothing happens, and then when something happens, the game just like completely shifts, and then nothing happens again. It's great, Yanni. It's peak League of Legends.
It is honestly peak League of Legends, Cubby. And now,
see, I said that sarcastically. I'm not sure if you did, but that's okay. Different strokes for different folks.
Listen,
the stakes are high. I like that.
I like a lot of League of Legends. League of Legends is a beautiful game just because you can find enjoyment out of any game, right? Most of the time, a lot of viewers will be like, oh man, I didn't really like watching this absolute clown fiesta, or I didn't like watching this absolute snooze fest, right? But sometimes people can enjoy both. Like some people who may enjoy a snooze fest, they don't see it as that. They see that as a work of art. And in the museum, the art museum of LPL, you gotta put this game up on the wall.
Oh, okay. That's. I was down for it until that one, Yanni. Looks like we're gonna have.
Not all art is subjective, Cubby. Not all art looks good.
It is. I'm lost in the sauce on this one, which also might sum up this series.
I'm gonna keep it a stack. I am too, brother. I am too.
Yep. The series has done things to us. I may have balded a bit. I may have gotten younger. I'm not sure.
I have certainly
really here to
balded
find
over
out.
this one, man. It is tough every time I get to look into my OBS camera. But
little balding.
Maybe the EDG fans are balding a little bit here. They might be maulding very soon
It's
as
a
well.
stressor.
As LNG has really taken control of this game, 36 minutes into it, you're starting to see some big items come through. I think Zika might just be damn near unkillable this game. 5T5, after a rough early start, has gotten tanky enough that he may never die again. Rabadon's death cap coming out for Haichao. MVP Haichao, 4 items right now. LP has 4 items. Like, these guys are strong.
LNG, they had 10 control wards off that deploy. EDG have none. One was dropped by Zika, but that's a team effort right there.
LNG really want to win this game.
Yeah, I will say, like looking at inventories, I think that On working on the Jock Show, really important. Again, as this Varus, we have seen him get poked out by the Ezreal Karma and have a tough time navigating the fights as the on-hit Varus, a challenge that we knew he was going to have in this game. There has been good peel around him, but just him being tankier and maybe able to eat a Mystic Shot or two could be really important for him to just be able to stand in the fight and stand and fire. And, missing out on other damage items as Varus. I mean, his kit, when you go late, those blight stacks do so much work. It's okay. You just want to be able to stack those up and fire them off. So, see if On can step up.
Yeah, On, who has had some, had that pretty good Corgi game even though it was not a victory. It's Hold That Thought. We're seeing an engage come through. Look at the damage coming out from the stolen ultimate by Haichao. Gonna burn the redemption to try to keep everybody upright, but 5t5 taken to about half HP. Over on the other side, Zika trying to contend with ZDZ, but the rest of the squad is coming through for EDG, and they're trying to stop Zika from actually getting away. He's trying to wade through all the crap, but the CC is strong. The damage is there. He's got a flash, but he goes down. Xiaohao looking to call game in this one as Zhuo is being stunned, and he falls. A double kill for the Viego. 7-0-0, doing it all on his own. Maybe.
I really want to see a replay of that, because on one hand, I'm like, why was Zika there? But on the other hand, where was the help? I know he was getting tossed around a bit, but there was no help from LNG. They kind of left him to his own devices. That leads to Baron going over right before Mountain Soul spawns for each team. EDG is going to have an immense advantage now in trying to get Soul Point, which could be the backbreakers for LNG.
Yeah, this is a great game. It just goes back and forth. It doesn't actually have to be.
I hate you for saying it.
Nah,
I hate
bro.
you for saying that,
Nah,
Yanni.
dude, this is awesome. This is the equivalent.
Where's the team?
Not here.
Haichao and LP are both on waves right now. And Karma is like, I want to help, but I don't want to help. And they're like, okay, we just can't take this, and it's fine. I mean, Pant did have no R. So that's a big tool in terms of, you know, finding angles and finding plays that was missing, but really left Zika off to, out to dry and see left to his own devices. And now, again, Baron up EDG. This is going to be full control over the Dragon, Yanni, and really tough for LNG to break.
And Mountain Soul for EDG could just put them over the top. Let's see if LNG is going to fight for it. Cubby, is it still on the table? If they don't fight for this, will you go absolutely ballistic on them?
Yes. I mean, yes and no. This is going to be really tough. I do want to shout out Angel. He should be the target. He's the one that's missing Flash, but he actually opted for the Seekers. So we'll be able to go golden in this fight. Could be significant.
All right. LNG taking control of this bottom river right now. Remember, EDG is baroned up, so if they want to, they could just elect to send somebody mid. Haichao over on the side, just hanging out. It's the Dragon. He's not particularly low, but a little bit of shade is throwing on it right now. Now it's starting to go down. 7,000. Maybe down to 6,000 as the teams have stopped their damage for right now.
There it is.
Keep an eye out. Keeper's Verdict going to get charged up. It's going to force away LNG. It's not going to land on anybody. And the smite is secured for EDG. And they have the shields. And they're looking to take down Zika. Down again. Xiaohao is 8-0. And they're looking for more as the rest of the team is gone. A double kill for Xiaohao. He's 9-0-0 on this Viego.
IT5 going to cut the wave. Like the play from him. He's probably going to go down, but again, warranted. And that Mountain Soul going over to EDG. Likely to spell the doom here for LNG in this series. A series that, frankly, with the new look roster, they may look a lot more competitive than I thought they would, Yanni. But end of the day, you could also argue it was a 3-0 for EDG. So do with that one as you will, if anyone's been tuned into this.
LNG has made EDG sweat. They made him sweat in game 3.
They've made them sweat, not us mauled, you know?
Yeah. But I have to say, Xiaohao came into this game and said, I am not losing this game. We are not losing. I refuse. Wink as well has said, no, this is not allowed. EDG will not go down to LNG today. We'll see if that holds true as the teleport is in 41 minutes and the turrets are being sieged. As LNG may have just run out of time. Ultimate stolen and used on the wave, but the turret will fall, and it's not really doing a whole lot of damage right now because of those Mountain Drakes and that Mountain Soul. The mid inhibitor will fall, and EDG will look to siege elsewhere.
I just don't know what else LNG can do. They've been outscaled at this point. Mountain Soul not helping their case whatsoever. Going to have to be a hero play coming out from someone. As Zika was the one that stepped up earlier on. Haichao is the one that stepped up in game 2. We'll see who steps up in game 3 to try and really save this game and save the series for them. As, oh boy.
Okay, all the way in is 5t5. He will
McHale's.
survive and be able to walk out. Stolen Poppy ultimate knocks 2 people out. But LNG aren't actually able to start a fight off of that.
A really nice Michaelis from Zhuo did save the Pantheon. Might actually be able to go in the base, and we'll have the Grand Skyfall available. Or Grand Starfall, I should say. If he wants to connect with that. So we'll see if he casts it. Did just come back up off cooldown. Haichao has access to another ultimate here in a sec, too.
LP is a little bit low, so he's going to walk off here. And I think that means that this turret It's not long for this world, Cubby. But we'll see if they're able to defend. LP sprinting out of the base. Haichao has a stolen Varus ultimate now. Is going to burn it on the Varus, but the Poppy ultimate keeps them at bay. The first turret will fall. Zika is getting mobbed by multiple members. He's got to get out of there. LP is burning away from the ultimate. The Chaos Storm of Angel. Victor online, just like Arcane. Haichao is golden in the middle of 4. It's a double kill for Angel. And EDG, it wasn't easy. It was never going to come easy. But in 42 minutes and 53 seconds, they will win this game over LNG and win the series.
It feels like a deserved win for EDG, but yeah, LNG did make them sweat for that one, Yanni. I gotta say, this new look LNG, am I sold by it? No. Can I argue that they got 3-0'd? Maybe. But at least they were able to make some plays later on. Like, they had some direction, right, with the Pantheon Silas. I actually thought that was okay. I thought Wink played really, really well in that game to help really peel his team. And for me, that Gragas pick, the flex, it's a really unique one that see at support. Really tough to play into Ezreal plus Karma. But what he brought to the fights later on made that pick look warranted and actually ended up paying off in the end. Yeah.
Who cares about lane as long as you're able to escape? Wink doing a heck of a lot. You know, you mentioned that Pantheon, and, you know, it's made some impact after a little bit of early game oopsies, but 5T5 and Haichao were still unable to link up in that early game, right? They did not disrupt Angel in any way this game, and he was just able to do so much damage in these fights. It really, in his lane, moisturized, thriving, you know, it just was able to play the game. It was a long game, but Victor is more than happy to do so. And, you know, Cubby,
yeah,
LNG still has some work to do.
See, that's the other thing. Like, there was some direction at times, but also a couple flub plays. I know this is a team that's still coming together. But man, this still is the team that really is the candidate to be knocked out of Group Nirvana early and to say sayonara to until 2026. Like, they didn't sell me enough on that one. It was nice to see like Haichao stepped up in that game too. Still good to see Zika step up, but it still feels like at the end of the day, it is a team where it's kind of like, hey, free Zika, like this guy, he could play in split 3 on a different team if LNG drop out. I feel like he might be an appealing target for a couple of LPL teams, but man, again, LNG, you got to be really worried if you're them because they netted the game, but couldn't net the series win, and I'm curious if we have any more roster shuffles or carousels as things continue here.
Yeah, I'm really concerned because, you know, when I look at Group Nirvana, I see EDG as a team that could finish 4th or even finish in the bottom 2. I think this might be the weaker team of the rest of them, right? Maybe they're stronger than OMG, but I think LGD, based on the work that they've done against other teams, is a little bit better. I think RNG has that pop-off potential, and Ultra Prime is actually looking quite good. So, you know, if you're LNG, perhaps you just beat the other team that's getting cut with you, right? And if you're EDG, perhaps you may have just realized that you may be the other team getting cut, right? If you're not able to take care of business against LNG. But it is still early. It is literally the first series of Group Nirvana. So
it is. I will also defend both teams a little bit. And again, reasserting how high the stakes for this match are. And the fact that you want to play things slow, you know, guarantee your setups, and maybe I really feel like the stakes might have slowed down this game a little bit. So we'll see if that ends up happening for the rest of Group Nirvana, which I would not be surprised by, because again, you are playing for your split 3 lives, your 2025 lives in this group. I'm looking at a tweet right now from Toad Armorillo. Shout out to him on the co-stream.
Shout out to
LNG's last game is scheduled for April 28th. There's a chance that could be their last game of 2025 on April 28th. That is crazy to think about with this new format.
That is literally 3 weeks away. That is...
I know.
Dude.
It's going to be a spread here for LPL, Yanni.
It's so hard, man, because, like, these players obviously do not want their season to end like that, right? Because there's a lot of uncertain futures at that point. You know, you have a team that... You know, Zika, obviously, you mentioned is a candidate that if they were to drop out, you know, we could see him on a team in split 3. I'm not quite sure if the other players have done enough to warrant that sort of attention as well. Obviously, a guy like 5T5, you know, literally his first games in the LPL, some good, some bad, but, you know, somebody that you could actually be like, you know what, this is a guy that, you know, a future piece perhaps, right? And